Hey everybody, in case you didn't know, we've moved all of our non-kill count content over to another channel. The channel you're watching right now, that's been here since 2017, will only post kill counts from now on. If you want to catch anything else that we do, it's over at Dead Meat Presents, our new channel that you should subscribe to right now. And by anything else, I mean everything else. The Dead Meat podcast will be posted there every other Wednesday. Every Monday morning, we do a horror news and channel updates live stream. Every year will be the Dead Meat Horror Awards, every January, the Horror Royal Rumble, and all other videos that don't have regular releases, including what's your favorite scary movie, all our other interview videos, Zorn's They Talk series, all the supercuts, all the event videos, any cut comparisons, any gaming live streams or cut downs of those, and any other random video that we feel like doing. And eventually Production Tales from Hell after the contract with the sponsorship ends. But yeah, if you want any other thing that we do, make sure you subscribe to Dead Meat Presents. Otherwise, you can keep tuning into this channel every Friday for the kill count. Speaking of which, welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Prom Night, a Canadian film released in 1980. Prom Night is one of those early slashers, very obviously influenced by Halloween. Its title is a holiday or event, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, right in the middle of her Scream Queen run that included the first two Halloweens, The Fog and Terror Train. Slashers are pretty hit or miss with me, though I do like the early ones that have an artistic edge to them, like Happy Birthday to Me, Tourist Trap, New Year's Evil, and My Bloody Valentine. Like I said, a lot of holidays in there. I'm glad to say Prom Night fits in with that upper echelon, thanks in part to its other obvious influence, giallo films. The Italian proto-slasher subgenre often featured stylized filmmaking and killers in black masks with sharp objects. All of that is present in Prom Night, buttressed by a bunch of natural performances, even if most of the characters aren't all that defined. But they feel like they're actual friends, and it makes the movie more mature than you might expect. Sure, it can get a little slow, but hey, it's got like a 3-minute disco dance sequence, and a guy who calls himself Slick. I can't be mad at it. As with many slashers, Prom Night gave way to a franchise. Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 is fucking incredible. A bizarre supernatural Carrie ripoff that has absolutely nothing to do with the first film. Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, follows Mary Lou again and becomes a full-on comedy slasher with mixed results. Prom Night 4, Deliver Us from Evil, is its own weird fucking thing, and then there was a remake in 2008, because of course there was. It was 2008. For now, I'll only look at the original and part 2 because they're great. Maybe in the future I'll cover the cheap ones and the remake. They're worth watching though. Even if they're dated, they've got charm, for the most part. These movies are a flavorful part of horror history. They deserve to have their kills counted. And if this first one's good enough for Jenna Ortega, it's good enough for you, okay?
It's just the proper way to do a slasher. Like if you ever needed some sort of guiding light, I think Prom Night is a really, really great one.
Let's take a big chance at the high school dance and see how many people die at it. The movie begins with a bunch of kids chanting "The killers are coming."
Killers are coming. Killers are coming. Killers are coming.
They ain't getting psyched for Mr. Brightside though. They're playing hide and go seek in an abandoned building, just breathing in all that nasty air. But that's how dedicated these 11-year-olds are to this game. I mean, that is an actual kid on an actual roof right there. In this version of H&S, each kid becomes a killer when they're found. One by one, they all join the killers, till you've got yourself an old-fashioned push pile with a little girl getting traumatized for life. They chase 10-year-old Robin Hammond past the fireman pole slides and shout her stuttering ass all the way back up to a window. But these four are playing too hard, man, because after a while, yep, we get an honest-to-God kid kill by some honest-to-God kid killers.
Killers are coming.
They done told you themselves. Nick McBride immediately wants to tell someone about this bullying gone wrong, but Wendy's got a point, bro.
If we tell anyone, they'll say it's our fault.
Now why would they say that?
Kill!
Oh yeah. Wendy makes Jumpsuit Jude, Crybaby Kelly, and Nikki Baseball swear to secrecy. Cool? Cool. Run away! 6 dead Robin years later, the Hammond family is still emotional, especially her mom. Her dad is surely more serious. Prom Night was one of Leslie Nielsen's last dramatic roles. He actually filmed this right after shooting Airplane, the movie that changed his career to a comedic one. Airplane was released 2 weeks before Prom Night, so it might have been weird to see him in such a dry role as a grieving father and school principal. It was always a jokester in person though.
He used to have this rubber fart machine that he would have around with him all the time on set.
Nielsen kept that gag going his entire life.
I will do almost anything I can for a laugh.
and in fact continued it even into death. His gravestone reads, "Let her rip." R.I.P. dude. Robin Hammond is also survived by her siblings, older sister Kim and twin brother Alex. You can tell Robin and Alex were twins because as kids they wore matching turtlenecks of medium size. As for Kim, the casting makes clear she's our final girl, which makes it a little weird that young Kim was hardly in the opening scene at all. She just called Nick an idiot and dipped out. Probably like, "Call me when I'm Jamie Lee Curtis." Kim is super popular and friends with most of the group that secretly bullied her sister to death. They're reintroduced to us as high school seniors as they each receive a cryptic phone call.
Jude,
Yes?
can you come out to play tonight?
I love this as a storytelling technique.
Callie, Wendy.
It's a creepy and effective way to show you who's who now that they're all grown up. We don't all have a list of names like their caller does, you know? Director Paul Lynch was told to come up with a holiday horror movie by Irwin Yablans, the producer who made Halloween. A billboard inspired the prom night idea, which was married to a childhood revenge storyline from Bob Guza in a screenplay written by William Gray. Yablans didn't end up getting to produce though. It was sniped by Peter R. Simpson, who wanted to cast Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch as Kim. Lynch pushed for Jamie Lee Curtis, knowing she was the better option to lead this cast of high school students. They go to Alexander Hamilton. Their school is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million boys who will go to prom for just one date. Just one date. Kim's going with a grown-up Nick McBride, whom she called stupid as a kid. Ha! Who's stupid now, huh? They're king and queen of prom and are pretty into each other too, even though his ex-girlfriend Wendy won't take no for an answer. She was the ringleader bully as a child, and as a teenager, she's bullying kisses out of Nick.
See you later, lover.
I told her it was over.
Worked real well.
Even though Nick and Kim are king and queen of the prom, Wendy hints that she'll steal him away with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
It's not who you go with, honey. It's who takes you home.
Other Hamilton boys eligible as dates include Lou Pirano, a greasy harassing type,
Say goodbye, Lou. Goodbye, Lou.
Drew Shinnick, Kelly's boyfriend who's constantly trying to get into her pants, and Seymour Crane, aka Slick, whose main pitch seems to be, I have a van. Now, since prom night is Giallo adjacent, let's get a cop plot going up in this bitch. This one follows Nick's dad, Police Lieutenant McBride, as he tracks down a guy named Leonard Murch who just escaped a mental institute. 6 years ago, the schizophrenic child molester Murch was wrongfully accused as the one responsible for Robin Hammond's death. McBride and his cops chased the guy down and lit him on fire as retributive justice. He got the full Fred Krueger treatment. Now that he's escaped, Murch has got McBride so hard-boiled, he's doing film noir narrations.
I've got to get that bastard before he butchers someone else.
This whole subplot drags the movie down and ultimately isn't that important. Oh shit, except for this kill I've got to count. They find the body of a nurse Murch killed when he escaped the institute in her car. Other than that, it feels disconnected, probably because it was a late addition to the script. But I do love the contrast between Murch's doctor, Fairchild, and Dr. Loomis from Halloween. Loomis obsessively hunts Michael Myers because he saw the devil's eyes in him as a kid. Dr. Fairchild says he's not an expert on some guy just because he used to be his doctor.
Lieutenant, you're asking me to comment on a catatonic schizophrenic who was disfigured and institutionalized 6 years ago. I'm sorry, Leonard Murch is an unknown quantity now.
Anyway, they think that Murch might be back in town and killing people out of revenge. That's what I glean anyway. From the look he gives us, I don't think Fairchild wants us to know anything.
I think it would be wiser to keep quiet about this for now.
What the fuck did we do? At lunch, there's a cafeteria scuffle where Alex Hammond kicks a lot of ass. I mean, I ain't surprised. Dude walks around hulked out in that white shirt all the time. Seriously, Alex been kinda. Lou wins the fight with a kidney punch, then whines when Principal Dad suspends him instead of his son. As if he wasn't the one who started it by forcefully kissing Kim in a ski mask, the little criminal. Lou would eventually join the other side of the law, where he tragically witnessed his equine partners succumb to a sugary death.
This horse is a diabetic!
There's another red herring subplot with the school janitor, Mr. Sykes. Again, it takes up screen time and doesn't do anything besides give us a butt to look at. I normally wouldn't mention it at all, except this lip licker is played by Robert A. Silverman, a Canadian actor who is in a bunch of Cronenberg stuff and Jason X. There, he played the bizarre Dieter Perez, who had that Skype scene with the professor. Perez was part of our podcast ranking the Friday the 13th side characters, so I had to mention him. Dude's fucking weird. Kim and Nick officially become an item at the nearby bluffs. I love the crane shot they have of this location, though I wonder whose bright idea it was to build a school right next to a cliff. And you know, I gotta say, Nico is kind of a sicko. Dude's kissing on a girl whose little sister he secretly killed as a kid. He tells Kim that he remembers her sister's death. Yeah, he probably thinks about it in the morning when the alarm gives out a warning, out the corner of his eye, seeing that little girl fly. But before he can confess, he's saved by the bell. Scorned by Nick, Wendy links up with Lou and takes him to a burger shop so he can order a bit of butt cheek. It's also so they can scheme. This is the Carrie portion of the film, with Lou as a sort of Cro-Magnon Travolta. They're planning a prom prank to get back at the Hammonds, while at the same time someone else is plotting payback against Wendy and Jude and Kelly. They all find torn out yearbook photos in their lockers alongside glass shards. The night of the dance lines up with the anniversary of Robin's death, which is why Kim's mom is so absent-minded and sad. Kim and Alex seem to be doing okay though. They get ready for the big dance as Nick waits downstairs, reflecting on how deranged it is he's dating a girl whose little sister he killed. Wendy's ready to kill again tonight, judging by that little red number she's got on. Thing's so slinky it crawled down a whole damn staircase. Too bad Lou's lacking the same sort of style.
What the hell is this? Where's your suit?
It's in the trunk.
Ouch, and gotta ride with the boys in the back too? They're off to a romantic evening for show. This prom is disco as fuck, baby. We're talking many a feathered hairstyle and four all over that floor. Good thing this movie came out right as the genre died. The ladies arrive with their dates, be them popular prom king or bandman Slick.
I'm Slick.
So I noticed.
A token, nothing more.
Slick for real though, slide Nick that J. Nice. Wendy and Lou arrive in all their resplendent glory, prompting Kim and Nick to go on the defensive and show them up with a dance. With assistant DJ Alex's help, the disco-rific song Prom Night begins, starting a dance sequence that goes on both way too long and not nearly long enough. It's 3 minutes straight of Kim and Nick cutting a rug, and I love it. I also love Zoran's parody in the Halloween They Talk. Despite her star power from Halloween and her Scream Queen lineage, Jamie Lee Curtis had to audition to get the role. Part of why she got it was her dancing skills. No wonder, Wendy and Lou can't exactly keep up. This extensive dance was choreographed by director Paul Lynch's sister and practiced by the actors for 10 days before they shot it. It's heavily influenced by John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. On set, the cast danced to major disco hits they couldn't afford the rights to, so composers Paul Zaza and Carl Zitterer had to write 6 disco songs in less than a week. They were told to make them as close to the hits as possible.
I want you to come close enough that we get sued, but not close enough that they win. We ended up getting sued.
Yeah, probably because of this song. He really wrote that and thought, I will survive a lawsuit? Kelly and her horny boyfriend Drew sneak off to the locker room, but when she pauses the action out of discomfort, he turns into a real asshole.
What are you, some fairy tale princess?
He leaves her with his rose, which is kinda sending mixed signals, TBH. What's crystal clear though, is that Kelly's the next to go on the kill count. The masked killer approaches from behind and uses a mirror shard to slit her throat just off screen. Sorry Kelly, sucks that you died, and sucks that Drew probably about to get his dick wet anyway. Meanwhile, Jude is also getting that prom D. She's shaking the Chevy, riding Slick's Willie in the back. These two are cute together, especially when they admit they're each other's first time. But lest we forget, Jude still helped bully that little girl to death 6 years ago. That's why the van doors open and Jude gets stabbed to death in the neck with a glass shard by the killer. Slick shouts and punches the killer away, but he ain't getting out of here without a short little stunt scene. Well, actually, the truth of it is, Slick ain't getting out of here at all. The killer causes him to drive his van off the bluff in an awesome vehicle stunt that sees the van burst into flame, incinerating Slick. God damn, I love when old movies toss vehicles off cliffs. This particular cliff was played by the Scarborough Bluffs in Toronto. Shooting in Canada allowed production to take advantage of the 1975 tax incentives. The high school they shot at was also in Toronto, the Don Mills Collegiate Institute, and they only had a week to shoot in late August before real classes resumed. Wendy's not enjoying herself at the dance, so she steps into the bathroom to freshen up. The killer attacks her with an axe and gives chase. But don't forget your weapon, you kinda need that, dude. I mean, how else are you going to barely miss her with that swing? Wow, low-key awesome stunt by Wendy's actress there. This chase scene is kinda cool, since it goes all throughout the dark, empty school while the music in the gymnasium continues barely audible in the background. It ends with some interesting editing that shows a blood puddle before revealing its source. A bloody Kelly. Just be happy that she ain't a skelly. It still causes Wendy to scream, and she's felled by a few axe swings from the killer off screen. Wendy was played by Anne-Marie Martin, who had a brief uncredited appearance in Halloween 2 as Nurse Hot Tub's friend. More interestingly, she freaking co-wrote Twister with her then-husband Michael Crichton? What? It's time for the prom procession, or whatever, which also means it's time for Lou's prank. He and his buddy grab Nick and knock him out, with nothing simpler than a backhand and a sound effect. Easy peasy. Nick is succeeded by King Lou, ruler of high school boys who kind of smell like beef jerky. But you know what happens when someone don't like a king? It's off with his head. Lou rolls his little head down the catwalk. Yeah, down the catwalk. Down the catwalk, yeah! They flashed their little bulbs on the catwalk. As you might have guessed, the money shot here was done with Lou's actor poking his head through a hole in the floor. Prosthetics designer Warren Keeler did make a fake head though, which was used for some shots and which he kept long after the latex started to decay. Ew. Chaos ensues, but Kim valiantly charges backstage to help guide her king to safety. Well, she tries to anyway, but he's got a hurt leg.
Come on, get up. Come on, get up.
Ah, Kim, you gotta be more forceful, like how Pam was with Reggie in Friday 5. As they limp away, the killer leaps out, but Kim lands a solid hit that stops the attack. She sees his eyes clearly and recognizes him, then follows as he stumbles outside towards the crowd and the police. Kim yells for them not to shoot as the killer collapses to the ground. Then she unmasks him, revealing her younger brother Alex. As a kid, he saw his twin sister Robin forced out of the window by the others. On the 6th-year anniversary of her death, he's been killing them one by one out of revenge. According to his actor Michael Tuff, Alex is wearing lipstick because he's embodying his twin sister during this quest for vengeance. Don't know about all that, but I do know there's a pretty big mistake with this killer reveal. The close-up where Kim realizes who the killer is shows them with brown eyes, even though Alex has blue eyes. That's because in most cases, the killer was played by stunt performer and coordinator Terry Martin, who literally threw himself into the performance. Tuff came up with and performed the creepy voice during the phone calls though. The movie ends as Alex cries out for Robin and dies? Wait, why'd he die? He didn't get shot or slashed, just bonked with the side of an axe head. Whatever. It's not how many bodies you take to the prom, it's how many you leave it with. Let's find out how many that is and get to the numbers. Eight people died in Prom Night, which feels about right for an early slasher. There were 5 female victims and only 3 male victims, the rare red majority pie chart. In fact, out of the 30 other kill counts I've done with 8 kills, only one of them has had this ratio. Freaking Treevenge. Hey, watch the Treevenge kill count, please. With a runtime of 93 minutes, Prom Night had a kill on average every 11.63 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Lou for sure. Great method, great presentation. It deserves center stage. Dull machete for lamest kill absolutely goes to Wendy. She's the queen bee and gets killed off screen? Highly unsatisfying. And that's it. Prom Night came out in 1980 and helped solidify Jamie Lee Curtis as a scream queen. The sequel that came 7 years later would be a whole lot more insane and completely disconnected. I'll show you that batshittery next week. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
The Prom. It's an evening filled with glamour and excitement.
Oh, I am gonna look so hot.
But there are certain considerations one must abide by to make sure the night is fun for everyone.
It's my duty. I'm a teenager.
First, it is the young man's responsibility to provide refreshments.
The potato. Nature's perfect vegetable.
It's the young lady's duty to be courteous in all her actions.
You shut your fucking mouth, bitch!
Of course, we understand you may be fighting teenage hormones or possessions by prom queens from the 50s.
She talks like we're in an Elvis Presley movie.
Still, please try to avoid getting lost inside of chalkboards.
That wouldn't happen.
Or having unsavory relations with your relatives. Or rocking horses.
Hey, give her a break, guys, huh? I mean, she's only trying to be an individual.
Finally, as the night draws to a close, always remember to be gracious when asking for what you want.
Will you fuck me?
This week, peep the bitchin' motion picture Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2.
I loved every minute of it.
And on Friday, don't forget to wear your prom dress for the kill count. Only on Dead Meat.
I don't know what we got here. Something strange.
Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this fucking Prom Night kill count, baby. I've been wanting to do this and the second movie for so long now. I don't even know when I wrote the first draft of this script. It was maybe a year ago. I was gonna do the whole series at first, but man, it just doesn't look like it'd do well. I mean, to be fair, those third and fourth ones are like direct-to-video, 3:4 aspect ratio, like a fucking square. Like you're watching a sitcom slasher, just grainy, awful, nothing to do with the other movie. It's ridiculous. Man, I just realized like I would never be able to put out Home Sweet Home now. And that episode is what brought us business. We wouldn't have business, man. Fuck. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, because obviously, this is the kind of shit I love. Also gave me an excuse to dance with my wife, and that lady is hot. Thanks, everyone. Be good people.